Hey, here I am. It's Saturday again, and I'm going to do my show. And it's rapidly approaching that time when I can get stoned and do this thing. Oh, wrong one. Where's my pad? There we go. Here's the news stuff. Just had to find it. But I got my cone already. We have less than a minute. Now I can start getting high around here. So wait, I got to increase the size of the chat so that when it happens, I can actually read it. Yeah. Be nice if I could read it. Whoops, I made it smaller. Shame on me. There we go. Now it's expandable to the point where I'll actually be able to read it when somebody comes in, if somebody comes in. But we're rapidly approaching 420 and get this thing going here. We're only seconds away, folks. Only seconds away from 420. I am ready, as you can see. So happy 420. Come on. There we go. Happy 420. First one today. Had kind of a hectic morning. Had a teleconference with my phone shrink. Frantically writing my notes for the show, etc., etc. This is no way to start out. So, even as freshmen on campus for the fall semester, policymakers are grappling with what they say become an alarming decline in the number of high school graduates. The time and money it takes to go to college. That experts warn is likely to diminish people's quality of life and the nation's economic opportunities. With the exception of wartime, the U.S. has never been through a period of declining education attainment such as this. 4 million fewer college students are in attendance than 10 years ago. That's alarming, to say the least. A significant steady drop nationwide in the proportion of high school graduates enrolling in college in the fall after graduation, from a high of 70% in 2016 to 63% in 2020, which is the last year we have records for. Americans are increasingly dubious about the need to go to college. Fewer than 1 in 3 say a degree is worth the cost. Unfortunately, that puts us behind in the world. Okay, we're going to be cranking out fewer doctors and fewer nurses and fewer everything else. It's not good. We're dumbing down America as it is. You know, this no child left behind thing was the stupidest thing we ever did in this country. We put people through school whether they're educated or not. I find that to be the ultimate absurdity. We're making it easier for kids to get into college, but they're not going. Doesn't make any sense. I realize the cost is outrageous. That's why we need education for all, you know, government education. I don't know. Sorry state of affairs when people aren't getting educated. Of course, I realized COVID had a lot to do with that. Job market being what it is today, you can get a pretty high-paying job without having to go to school. That's no reason not to get an education. Take them from somebody who didn't. Okay. We got a problem in the Arctic Circle. It's heating up nearly 4 times faster than the rest of the world. Cedar, welcome aboard. How do I feel about uprising of the rural Chinese? Well, any uprising in China is okay with me. Okay. It's about time the people in that country got up off their asses and did something about their government. I didn't know there was a rural uprising in China, but if there is, it's a good thing. I wasn't aware of that, but yes, if there is, yes, I'm about it. Those people should rebel against their government if that's what they're rebelling against. I mean, they've been oppressed for far too long. But yeah, the Arctic is warming up like 4 times faster than the rest of the world, and it's been discovered. We've been measuring the climate up there since '79, since we had reliable satellite measurements since 1979. Now, the loss of sea ice is one of the largest drivers of this. The Arctic Circle is mostly ocean, which used to be frozen most of the time. But permanent sea ice is steadily shrinking, and seasonal ice is melting earlier and reforming later. Politics of Illinois isn't an area I can dive into. I know they turned loose Rod Blagojevich. Yeah, I know. Well, Trump did that. Wasn't the people of Illinois. They preferred to keep them locked up. Okay, that was Trump doing. While ice is light in color and reflects the sun, the ocean is dark. The seawater absorbs the heat and helps melt the ice that much faster. So things don't look good. We lose the polar ice, and the oceans just rise that much faster. So got a problem there. Yeah, I was not a Blagojevich fan, believe me. He was my boss for a short period of time, and really fucked up my department. So 11 sets of classified documents were removed from Mar-a-Lago, including some marked top secret and meant to be available only to special government facilities. There were one set of documents was marked top secret, sensitive, compartmented information. Just outside the Denver metro, huh? Yeah, I thought maybe when they jailed George Ryan that they'd put him in a cell next to Blagojevich so he could poke a stick at him every now and then, Did they find any panties? I don't know. They took 20 boxes, so there might have been some panties in the others. But there was this one set of of top secret sensitive compartmented information, 4 sets of top secret documents, 3 sets of secret documents, and 3 sets of confidential documents. Okay, so those were the 11 sets of classified documents that they found. Now, so there were 20 boxes removed altogether. Now, the alleged crime that was committed here is espionage, violations of the Espionage Act. Okay. So the FBI has been corrupt since J. Edgar Hoover. No, J. Edgar Hoover was corrupt. I don't know if the FBI was, but he was. Okay. I don't know that the FBI is corrupt. J. Edgar Hoover was corrupt. They might have straightened their acts out after he left. Okay. I'm not sure that didn't happen. But there were previous attempts by the Justice Department to get these documents, including subpoenas. Okay, and they were unresponsive. They had no choice but to go in there and grab these documents. I mean, it wasn't like Trump was being cooperative. So panties have always been involved. Yeah, Hoover used to wear them, as I recall. So that's another story. But I mean, the search warrant was necessary. Okay, just to get this shit, because there's no way he was going to turn it over. Okay, so it just wasn't going to happen, you know. So former Louisville Metro Police Detective Kelly Goodlett falsely claimed a postal inspector had verified that Breonna Taylor was receiving packages from her ex-boyfriend, convicted drug dealer Jamarcus Glover, at her apartment before the raid. I was in the Army for 3 years. Way back in the 60s. Kentucky Attorney General's office, that Sergeant John Mattingly, in passing, had told her and Detective Janes that 3 months before Breonna Taylor's death, that Glover was getting mail or Amazon packages at her apartment. Kelly Goodlett has agreed to plead guilty and testify against her co-defendants, Sergeant Kyle Meany, Detective Joshua Janes, and Brett Hankison. Now, what she had done was, I enlisted. I had a lot of problems at home and in my personal life. So I did it to get away. But anyway, these people lied in order to obtain the warrant that got them to enter Breonna Taylor's apartment and then kill her. Okay. So these people are facing jail time, up to 5 years for what they did. So maybe there'll be some justice for her yet. So that's all the news I have today. I was in a hurry. The weed of the week is Rebel Sour, 22.04% THC, and it is a sativa. Taxpayer-funded pirates, yes. Couldn't agree more. You know, in this implied immunity the police have. That scares the shit out of me. I mean, they have carte blanche to do pretty much whatever they want and get away with it. Not fair to the rest of us. You know, police are like anyone else. They commit a crime, they should be held accountable. They get away with too much already. I know that Chicago police officers are given a list of those places that'll feed you for nothing and give you discounts just because you're a cop. And the police department actually provides them with that list. Here's all the places you can go to get a discount. I think that's appalling. Nobody should get a free ride for any reason. I can say that now that I'm retired. So my job got me out of a lot of jams. So I don't back the badge. I don't either. I think those are guys that decided they didn't want to do anything for a living. Okay. You know, I don't want to work. I think I'll be a cop. Okay. It's pretty much their attitude. I worked with a lot of police officers in my life, and I never met one I liked. So, the state police were the worst. Illinois State Police. They always think it's their job to teach you something. Anytime you're out with them, it's an instruction. Okay, I got tired of that shit. You know, I'm not your student. Leave me alone. I'll just look out the window and you can stop talking now. You know, it was always my attitude. And what was annoying about it was that for 8 years, the state police supervised my unit, so supervised my department. So we had a chief of investigations who embezzled $35,000 from the state. They couldn't fire him, so they brought in the state police to oversee him. They basically put him in his office and screened all his phone calls and wouldn't let him talk to anybody. And they just took over his job. And for the most part, they were assholes. So. And according to the Supreme Court, they don't have to protect you. So that business about serving and protecting is a bunch of bullshit. And they don't serve or protect us. They serve and protect themselves. That's what they're out there to protect, is themselves. No one else. So if they were there to protect you, you wouldn't get tight in the nuts every time you drive past a squad car, you know, or every time one drove past you. Okay. If they were really good people, you wouldn't feel that way every time you saw one. Okay. Blue line flag is gang insignia. Yes, exactly. I mean, there wouldn't be such a thing as a blue wall and all that other shit if they were legit. Okay. And look how up in arms the policemen's union got when they were talking about vaccinating for COVID. You know. So You can't tell me they're the good guys. They were the good guys. They wouldn't make you feel bad. Excuse me, my nose is running. It's killed. Look out, you know. I don't know if you heard that I said. They're definitely biased. Next time you get stopped for a traffic ticket and they ask you where you were coming from, tell them you have a right to remain silent. See how nice they are to you. You know, right away, if you tell a cop you have a right to remain silent, automatically you're guilty. As far as they're concerned, if you have nothing to hide, then there's no reason for you to remain silent in the eyes of a cop. Okay. So even if you claim your right to remain silent for no other reason than the fact that you have one, you're guilty in the eyes of a police officer, which I think is the ultimate absurdity. But I know people who have done that. All they've done is say, I'd rather not answer your questions. And the cops took offense to that. I often take for granted the convenience of having a banana. Okay. We take a lot of things for granted. Okay. Look what happens when the power goes out. We go crazy, you know. You think back, not that many years ago, there was no power. Okay. So we get all panicky now. It's really surprising how accustomed you can become to things. You know, once Gutenberg invented the movable type, people stopped remembering things. Think about it. In your own world, you have a cell phone. How many people's phone numbers do you know now? Before you used to remember people's phone numbers, now you don't have to. And we just stop doing things when other things make it more convenient. People stopped remembering when you could write stuff down. When the printed matter became available, people stopped remembering things. I mean, our ancestors had much better memories than we do because they had to. Bananas don't grow in the wild where you live. They don't grow in the wild where I live either. But you know, everything is a convenience. I mean, just think if there were no stores, okay, if you had to grow all your own food and make your own clothing, if we were in that kind of a situation in this present day, how many of us would there be on this planet? Probably far fewer than there are now. You know, if we were left to our own wits to survive, there's a lot of witless people out there. I mean, we wouldn't be in this situation if we were still primitive. We'd be eating each other. Population would be much lower. Air would be cleaner too. So we'd be living in a different place. So we're so technologically advanced, we're killing ourselves. So. Well, that's just it. I don't think so. I don't think that could happen. Our population would drop considerably if we had to forage for our own food. Oh yeah, well that's not going to happen. I mean, if that happened, we'd have clean air. I mean, we've been talking about cleaning the air for over 50 years now. As old as I am, because when it gets really terrible, so I'm glad I'm as old as I am, because when it gets really terrible, I won't be around for it. So, I'm already 75. So, in 30 years, when the weather gets really horrible, when the planet is uninhabitable, I won't be here. So, I was born at the right time. And it's not overconsumption so much as it's waste. Okay. We don't overconsume, we overwaste. You know how much food ends up in the garbage? It's unbelievable how many people we could feed with what we throw away. Outdated and rotten food and that sort of thing. Stuff we just throw out. You ever see what happens at Dunkin' Donuts? How many donuts they throw away on a daily basis? They get stale, they just throw them away. After a few hours, they just throw them out. I mean, we waste food like nobody else in this country. Beef. They took the fresh burger that they made, and making burgers from fresh beef, and the ones they had left over, they didn't sell. They converted that to chili. Whoops. They pour mop water and other on the donuts to prevent free donut foragers from closing it. Yeah, I know. That's terrible. They had to let the free donut foragers take them. I mean, these are probably homeless people. Let them have them. What the hell? I think that's terrible. I mean, if they consider it waste, why not just throw it out and let people have it? It's waste, right? It's terrible the way we treat people. These are just hungry people. Feed them. Everybody has to make a buck, I guess. Can't just let people eat for nothing, I guess. I don't know. It's against health. I don't know. The whole world's gone nuts. I'm cycling, I know. I'm cycling. There we go. I'm back again. But yeah, it's crazy. Well, I lived in a more reckless world and it was safer. Okay. I grew up in a very reckless world. They didn't have to put warnings on plastic bags. Nobody rode their bicycle with a helmet. Every kid carried a knife. Okay. And it was a safer world. There were no seatbelts in the cars. Dashboards were made out of metal. And kids could play in the street until it got dark, and nobody came away and nabbed them. And I don't know, everything was better. We didn't have all these plastic bottles all over the place. We recycled without having to be told to, because things came in glass bottles and there was a deposit on those bottles. So you took the bottles back just to get the 2 cents or the 15 cents for a gallon milk bottle. You took it back. You know, they didn't even call it recycling. You just did it. You know, beer bottles came in what they called long necks, and all the beer companies use the same long neck, so they could all recycle the same bottles. Made a lot of sense to me. You know, it's a petroleum industry that has destroyed this country. And that's why we got to put an end to that. You know, they're the ones making plastic. And they're the ones that started this whole plastic recycling thing, which is a lie. You know, they're the ones that put the symbols on the bottles. You know, show you the little triangle with the number in the middle. Yeah, they started that whole thing in order to lie to you about what's being recycled. Because none of it is. Very little plastic is recycled. So there's a little chance that the bottle you're drinking from will end up being something else other than landfill. More likely to end up in an island in the Pacific. Part of an island in the Pacific. A large plastic one. I think there's 2 in the Pacific and 1 in the Atlantic now. Plastic islands floating around. So, yeah, this planet's being destroyed little by little at a much more rapid rate in the past 10 years than ever before, with the weather patterns shifting the way they are, getting so much drier out west and so much wetter in the southeast. What happened in Kentucky? Although they did have a half a year's worth of rainfall in a single day in Death Valley this past week. So that's saying something. So they had almost 1.5 inches, I think, or just over 1.5 inches. That's a half a year's worth of rainfall. So too bad it wasn't closer to the Colorado River. Maybe it's like meat up a skosh. But yeah, they're finding more and more things in Lake Mead, towns and old Indian villages, and I think they're up to 5 bodies now. So surprised they haven't found Jimmy Hoffa. I guess that'll come in time. He's probably in there somewhere. But what else is new? I have a cough. That's new. Ah, there. That's better. So, what else can we talk about today? What else is going on in the world? I guess there's still war going on in the Ukraine. Much concern about the nuke plant seems to be getting shelled. I can see where that would be a problem for all of Europe. I'm waiting for the United Nations to step in there and do something outside of just talk about it. I think I have to stop that for a while. Have you ever considered cricket meal as a replacement for flour or cornmeal? No, never have. You mean ground up little crickets? Little chirpy night things? No, never have. Does it work? Make cricket bread, that sort of thing? Might be down to that pretty soon, you know. It's a protein-packed alternative. Cricket ranching is not only affordable to start, but also it requires very little acreage. Yeah, I would imagine. They don't take up a lot of space, little critters. Oh, really? Oh. Well, it drives you nuts when you get one in the house and you can't find it. You can only hear it. Because it's not easy to locate them suckers by their sound. They can throw that sucker. You know what I mean? My nose again. Might be something we'll have to resort to soon. You know, making more cricket breads. It's needless to say, with climate change, it's going to come fewer, or less, I should say, less tillable soil. It's not gritty or multicolored. Oh, that's nice. I was wondering if if there'd be any crispy chunks in there. Like hard leg pieces or something like that. It's nice to know it's more flour-esque than bug chucky. So yeah, That'd be worth trying, I guess. Might give it a try. Yeah, I have to let Forging Seeker know. See if he's tried that. Haven't seen him around lately, though. He's been posting videos, but he hasn't been in my chat. He's coming to my chat all the time. Not a lot of people around today. Must be nice weather for a change. Instead of heat like we have here. You know, we had 90s in May and June and July, and now it's August. We got 70-degree weather, which is so uncharacteristic for August around here. You can eat roasted whole crickets. They have flavors like barbecue, ranch, wasabi, and cinnamon. Oh yeah, I know. I've seen that sort of thing, but that's not very appealing. You know, they don't look so good. You know, the appearance of them isn't appetizing. You know, and I used to joke about how hungry the first guy they ate a lobster must have been. You know, but then I think about they were eating smaller bugs than that, and they thought, "Wow, here's a bonanza." I mean, that's what really happened. You know, he was probably going around eating cockroaches and all kinds of shit, and then he come upon a lobster, and it was like, "Holy shit! Look at the size of this bug!" You know. And then once he cooked it, it was like, "Holy crap! This is really good. Wish I had some butter." You know. And that wouldn't happen for a long time. You know, butter must have been an accident, right? Like so many other food items, I'm sure were accidents. You know, some things just. I mean, they didn't make yogurt on purpose or sour cream. These things just happened. You know, or raisins or prunes. That just happened by accident, I'm sure. And somebody, hey, look, look what I got. You know. So, but I mean, people were eating bugs long before they stopped eating them. You know, I mean, I'm sure the "ooh, that's icky" thing came long after they provided nutrition for people. Crickets provide critical nutrition. Be certified kosher if applicable. Oh, kosher crickets. Oh. Do they have to have a rabbi at the slaughterhouse? At the cricket slaughterhouse, do they have to have a rabbi there? I was just wondering. You know, like they do at the meat slaughterhouse. Or maybe it's like a dill pickle. All you have to do is add garlic. Makes it kosher. I'm not making fun of the religion, by the way. I don't want you to think that. Okay. I have no problem with any religion. People can believe whatever they like. I happen to believe in nothing. Only because more people have died in the name of religion than anything else. The rabbi will meet with the transporter often when the crickets are being trucked to slaughter. I see. Yes, the only reason I don't believe in religion, I believe in faith. I just don't believe in religion. Because more people have died in the name of religion than anything else. And hordes of atheists never went around and said, believe in nothing or I'll kill you. So I would prefer to be among the group of atheists who didn't go around killing people. You know, there are very few religions that didn't kill in the name of their religion. Buddhists, for one. So I have a hard time accepting that. And plus, I just, you know, what makes one Christian religion better than another, you know? And why did they all look down on Catholics? And these things I don't understand. So I'd rather just ignore them all. You know, and what makes a Shiite better than a Sunni or vice versa? So I don't want to know. Because it just sounds foolish to me to argue about it. I understand having faith, and that's fine. Believe what you like, but to gather together once a week under a roof with people who fear the same things you do, just so somebody can take your money, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You know, just what I believe. So we're each entitled to our own beliefs, right? At least in this country. Should tricky navigate through those waters. Oh, it's best not to try unless you hold a permit. Yes. That's why I decided not to navigate through those waters. It's too confusing. You know, too many choices. You know, too many different gods. You know, what makes one better than the other? You know, what if you pick the wrong one and the end of days comes and you should have been a Jew or an Astrozorian or something, you know, or Zoroastrian or whatever it is. I guess I'm more of an agnostic than an atheist. I'm more like I don't know what to believe than I believe in nothing. It's more like I don't know what to believe. So I tend to believe in nothing. I choose to follow nothing. I guess that's more of the point. That makes more sense. I just assume not be a sheep. Besides, how do they know what they're talking about? And does anybody really have a clue about anything? When it comes to creation or any of that, does anybody really have a clue? Except for the scientific community, does anybody really know what happened? And do they really know? I mean, it's all pretty much theory. So, and none of us have been around long enough to know what happened way back when. And nobody was writing it down for the first how many thousands of years. We don't even know that. So it's all speculation. So, we don't even know if we're aliens or not to this world. Do not drink hot dog water, especially at the concession stand. Okay, it will not get you high. Okay. I tend to stay away from dog water, hot or cold. Oh, hot dog water. Oh, okay, hot dog water. Yeah. Lines of my dogs, not hot dogs. Gosh, I haven't had a hot dog in ages. I got to drive up to the city and get a hot dog. Can't get a decent hot dog around here. Nobody knows what a real Chicago hot dog is. And I'm only 50 miles out of the city. It's funny how they lose that. Can't get a good Italian beef sandwich down here either. There's no good bread. It's terrible. I don't know. I don't know how you can lose that in just 50. How you could lose tradition like that. I mean, the Italian beef sandwich was invented in Chicago, and you get 50 miles from the city, you can't even get a good Italian bread to make a sandwich with. So, I mean, they have an Italian bakery in Joliet, 20 miles from here, but the bread they make stinks. It won't hold up to the gravy of the sandwich. So it's terrible, terrible stuff. And so they make Italian beef sandwiches with it, but it's just awful. And as far as the Chicago, not a single one of them down here uses a right bun. So right off the bat, you're screwed. It's roast beef made with Italian seasonings, and they slice it up super thin and serve it on Italian bread with gravy and bell peppers cooked up, and then some hot giardiniera on there too. But yeah, it's roast beef sliced super thin. You can almost read through it. And it's a Chicago creation. But see, the bread has to be of a very high quality Italian bread, because they take it and they dip the sandwich in gravy. That's the way you want the sandwich to be served. So the bread has to be pretty robust stuff. They're very good. Okay. So, I mean, the bread has to be robust enough that you can dip the sandwich. There's a show on right now on Netflix, no, on Hulu, excuse me, called Bear, Bear. And it's about this guy who's running a struggling restaurant in Chicago. And I think it's called Beef, something, Chicagoland Beef or something is the name of the restaurant. And the location they're using for this restaurant, well, it's a facade they're using. They're not inside the food they're serving inside. They're serving Italian beefs, but they're also serving a whole bunch of other stuff that this place doesn't serve. But the facade they're using for the place is a place called Mr. Beef on Orleans. And it's a place I've been going to for Italian beef sandwiches for, at least half my life. And it's like my favorite place to go for Italian beef sandwiches is Mr. Beef on Orleans. And that's the place they're using as a facade for his restaurant. And it's a real hole in the wall. I mean, if you check out the show, you see the place from the outside, it's a dump. I mean, it's just a little storefront place with a parking lot next door. And it's a real hole in the wall. But it's my favorite place to go for Italian beefs. But they make it look much larger on the inside than it really is. Somehow. I don't know where they're getting all that extra seating from, but it's not there. You'll wonder yourself if you check it out. You'll wonder yourself because from the outside, it doesn't look like there could be that much seating inside. And I don't know where all that kitchen came from because there sure isn't a lot of kitchen in this place. But they make the best Italian beef sandwiches. And actually, you get an Italian beef and Italian sausage combo. You just go in there and say you want a combo sweet and hot and dip it. They'll know just what you want. That's the perfect sandwich right there. So, and now I'm dying for one. Now I got to drive up to Chicago. And the place is like just outside downtown Chicago. And they have a parking lot. And you can usually get a spot in the parking lot because nobody drives downtown. Everybody takes public transportation. So there's usually a spot in their parking lot if you drive over there. So, you wonder, well, why would they have a parking lot? Well, that's why, because nobody ever drives. So if you do drive, you can get a space. Yeah, I watched the first episode, and I didn't see the front of the place at first. They were standing there looking out the window, and I saw the sign of what was it was fogged out, but it was a green beer sign, a sign for a bar, and I recognized the bar sign, and I said, "That's got to be Mr. Beef." What is your experience with Indiana? Well, I got a speeding ticket there once. It's a good way to get to Michigan. Yeah, or Ohio or any other points east. I drove to Indiana Beach once with my wife and daughter, and we immediately turned around and went to Wisconsin Dells. So those are my Indiana experiences. She was a total bitch, probably still is. But yeah, those are my sole experiences. Oh, and there's a nice glass blowing head shop right across the border. So that was my only. Oh, excuse me. And I went to Pierogi Fest once, so I had two positive experiences there. One was Pierogi Fest, and one was the head shop with the glass blower. So, and driving through it. I like driving through Indiana. So, getting out of it is fine. When you get through the other side, that's okay. In any state that has some time zones that don't change and some that do, that's pretty bizarre. Oh, the Dells was a lot of fun. The Dells is a party place. That is a place to go. And way back when, it used to be a lot cheaper. The Dells has water parks and all kinds of stuff, and you go out on the ducks and all that. Dells is a lot of fun. Indiana Beach just looked scummy by comparison. It was just a dump. The Dells is a great place to go. Good restaurants, nice accommodations. The Dells is a resort town. No other way to put it. Great place to take kids. Lots of activities for kids. We had a little girl at the time. Well, we still have a little girl, only she's 50, 51. Not anymore. I'm old. Been to Europe 9 times. Been to Hawaii. Spent 2 years in Alaska in the military. So yeah, I've been outside the tri-state area a few times. I went to Arizona 2 years ago for a few days, just by myself. My bestie bought a condo in Tucson. I went out there to see it. But we haven't been doing much traveling in recent years. You get old, you don't do much. We did a lot of traveling, though, my wife and I. We traveled all over Northern Europe. Went to Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, Switzerland, Luxembourg. So we traveled all over that area. And I've been to virtually every state in the country. Might have missed a few, not many. So, but yeah, we've traveled a lot in our lives. So, yeah. But no, not anymore do I get out. Mostly local traveling. I don't even go to the city much. So we're kind of settled in now. 3/4 of a century old. So and these are just reading glasses, by the way. So I have good eyesight, but I just don't get out much. Consider moving to Virginia with Lost Dog. No, not even a little bit. The weather on the coast is getting more severe. I'd rather stay right here. Okay. You watch, the weather on the coast is going to get more severe as the years pass. Just like it's getting in the south. Okay. So I'm going to stay where I'm at. Our winters are getting milder here. Summers are warmer. But actually, they're kind of shifting. Like I said, our we had a very hot May and June, but now here it's August and we're in our 70s. So that's very low for us. Usually August is very hot. So our seasons are kind of shifting. Sure, I'll visit him. It's more likely he'll visit me because his mother lives here. So, and he's younger. He can do the driving. Plus, he's got that economical little roller skate of his, He's got that smart car. Although by now I think it's lost some of its intelligence. It's not that old. It's not that young. It's getting older but not wiser. His car, I'm talking about. So, hey, I missed it. Ep428. Yeah, I'd probably consider driving out there just to see what the view is like. I'm going to wait till after he fixes the place up. So I want to see what it looks like with 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. So I've seen the floor plan already. I want to see what he does with it when he changes it. But yeah, I'll go visit him. He visits me once a week. I got at least to do is give him a turnabout on that, right? So, yeah, he's a good guy. I like him. Yeah, he comes down here once a week, spends a day. This isn't bad weed. Is that Rebel Sour? Pretty good. What you toking on? Buster's sitting in his chair over there. His eyes are like half open. Almost falling asleep. Blue Dream. Oh, nice. Yeah, I just took some cherry train haze out of Cure. It's pretty nice stuff. I'm liking. I didn't get a big yield though. I got a tent. I got 5 plants and I'm just about to flip. It's got two two Holy Grails, two two some kind of cheeses, and Scout's Prayer. So we'll see how those turn out. But I got to flip it only because the Holy Grail's got so fucking tall in there. So now I got to flip the whole tent just because they're out of control. But I guess I could bend them over or something. But still, I know once. But there's two others in there though too. Once I flip them, they're gonna shoot up too, and they'll. I just got to do it. Just get it done. Move on. I got another tent with 5 Gorilla Glues going in there, but they're younger. So, but from now I'm going to cut back. I'm not going to do 5 plants. This is the first time I tried doing 5 plants. These are 3x3 tents. I'm going to come back. I'm going to do no more than 3 per tent this time. Next time. So, because I can't spread them out as much as I'd like to. With this many plants in there, I got to go straight up with them. I can't. I'd like to be able to spread them out more. If I go 3 to the tent, you don't abuse it? Well, I don't abuse it either. I smoke it. I've been at this a long time though. Not growing it. I'm a new grower. So I'm just experimenting with that. But I've been smoking it only since I was 21. So I'm 75 now. So it hasn't been that long. Only my entire adult life. I never experimented as a child. But I did do psychedelics before I smoked marijuana. Because I read Timothy Leary's The LSD Story. And LSD was a gateway to enlightenment. Whereas in my youth, marijuana was a gateway to heroin addiction. No, I've never been to rehab for anything. But, I didn't want to become addicted to heroin, but I did want to be enlightened. So, but I don't know. I see a psychiatrist. I see a therapist. Even my cardiologist doesn't care that I smoke marijuana. So I don't think I have a problem. I mean, I was gainfully employed all my life. I've been married for 52 years. I raised a child. I lived a normal life. I own a home. I don't see where it's influenced it in any way. I never had trouble holding a job. I only had 2 main jobs my entire adult life. I had worked at one for 10 years, the other one for 29. So I don't see where it's disrupted my life in any way. It never held me back in the way of promotions or anything at work. So I always moved up the ladder. So I don't know that rehab, if I would benefit from rehab for cannabis, since I don't think I was ever in danger of it harming me. Wendy's offers a decent strawberry frosty. Ooh, never had a strawberry frosty. Ooh, I'll have to try one of those. Yeah, there's no Wendy's around here. That's the trouble. Wendy's is 20 miles away. You know, we got everything else. We don't have a Wendy's. You know, we got Burger King and Subway and McDonald's and everything else, but we don't have a Wendy's. It'd be worth the trip though. I do like Frosties. And I like Wendy's burgers too. So I watched a video of they were ranking burgers from from chain burger restaurants, and they Wendy's ranked fairly high on the list. Sonic's was the lowest one. Sonic's was the worst, they said. They said you might want to try some of their other stuff, but stay away from their burgers. They rank White Castle low, but White Castle's in a category of its own, I think. They pretty much said the same thing. McDonald's ranked below Burger King, considerably below. But neither one of them ranked, they were both ranked around the middle. The top seller, the number one pick was Culver's. In-N-Out ranked pretty high, as did Fatburger, but neither of those locations operate in my area, so I won't be able to try those. But yeah, Culver's ranked number one. So, and Wendy's ranked very high too, because of the fresh meat. I haven't been to Culver's in years. I'm not a fast food restaurant person. I traveled a lot on my job around the state, and I would rather go into a local location and have something to eat than to stop at a restaurant. McDonald's commands for first place for nuggets. Well, Culver's tenders suck. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, see, I always used to tell people McDonald's was a great place to stop and take a leak, because I just don't eat at fast food restaurants. I haven't been doing McDonald's for food. I couldn't tell you when. Sometime maybe in the 80s. So yeah, and if I went to Culver's, it'd be for a burger. And I think the last fast food place I went to was a Hardee's. So I like their burgers. They were baking their own buns too at the time, and the red onion got me too. I like the idea that they had red onions on their sandwiches. That was nice. You know, just a cut above, something different, you know. So, see, I was just talking to a guy who worked at Tyson Chicken, and he said the last thing in the world he'd ever eat would be a chicken nugget of any kind. Anybody's. because he saw what went into chicken nuggets. Yeah. So he says that's feet, meat, and skin and things like that. He would never eat a nugget. So I'd rather have chicken tenders than anything else. But I think just from watching this video, I think I'm going to give Culver's a try. And the reason they call it a butter burger has nothing to do with butter on the burger. It has to do with butter on the buns, because they butter the bun before they toast it on the grill. That's what makes it a butter burger. So, in case you were wondering. So, I might give them a try. I'm going to give them a try sometime soon. I mean, if they ranked them number one of, and Fuddruckers ranked really low. He said they used to be good, but they're not anymore. So I forget what other places. They named some places that don't exist around here. So, some other places I've never heard of. Chains in other parts of the country, I guess. But all in all, it was a pretty comprehensive list. And they told you what was wrong with the burgers at various places and why you shouldn't go there. So, which I thought was nice too. What I thought was weird though was right in the midst of the video there was a Subway commercial. Which I guess would make sense for Subway to do that. Well, I don't know where everybody was today. I thought somebody'd be jumping in here. It's nice that you were here today. Thanks for showing up. I think I'm gonna go see what I can find to eat for dinner tonight. I'm gonna wrap things up here. So remember, there's nothing funny about peace, love, and understanding. And tune in Tuesday at 4:20. I think I might feature Mink DeVille. I don't know if you know who that is. He didn't do a lot of recording, but music with a Latin touch. So thanks for stopping in, and hope to see you again soon.